There are too many documented illnesses and deaths, and there are too many doctors who are expressing alarm because they see these poisonings every single day to continue denying that pesticide misuse has become a significant health problem in our state, especially for farm families themselves, for farm workers, and for residents of rural areas and small towns. It is a big problem. It is a big problem that is not going to go away. It is a big problem that is only going to grow bigger, but it's a problem that we can deal with at the state level if we're willing to stand up and do it.
When Hightower came in, he was going to allow us to do something unusual in the regulatory program. He was going to have us do something called enforce the law. That was the first thing that hit home to me as a field person.
I only had one lawyer for the whole program. I think we had a 500 case backlog at the time. Those were pesticide poisonings, complaints by farm workers who'd been poisoned, by consumers, by farmers whose neighbors had poisoned their crops.
He had some authority that he could exercise even without new legislation, but we wanted stronger legislation so he'd be able to impose bans and fine people. The problems we had is that the crop dusters would fly by and spray pesticides on people when they were working in the fields. There was no kind of coordination, and the farmers didn't care because they weren't responsible. So it's a whole question of how do you make people understand that it's something you shouldn't do, and for that you have to have penalties and you have to have enforcement and all of those things, and that was what we were interested in building.
We think that the right to know law will give farm workers the tools they need to protect themselves better. It'll give them a better understanding of the pesticides that they're exposed to, that they're handling, if they're mixer loaders or applicators, or that they're exposed to if they handle treated crops.
Colonia residents would call us and say that they had just sprayed and they were feeling dizzy and they were feeling sick and they had to go to the doctor, and could we figure out how to tell the farmers not to spray when it was really windy, that they needed notice to bring in their pets, to bring in their clothes. How could they inform us and inform them? It was a piece of legislation that told the farmers, okay, if you're going to spray a field and there's homes, you have 24 hours to put up a red flag. That was a big win also that we had under Hightower.
The 87 legislature passed the Farm Worker Right to Know law. It said farm workers, just like every other industrial worker in the state, have the right to know what kinds of chemicals have been applied in their workplace, which is the fields. That required that farmers actually make formal records of their chemical use and make them available to the department on the request and to the workers on the request.
Receive every indication from farm operators around the state that the regulations are in fact not costly, not inconvenient, and cause little or no need for concern. They're good regulations.
I believe that Texas agriculture has the will to stand up for itself and do the right thing. Farm families, farm workers, rural residents, and other Texans demand and they deserve sensible protection from pesticide hazards. We at the Texas Department of Agriculture are committed to working with all parties to make sure that those protections are both effective and reasonable.